Thank you, Mr. Dennis Joseph. Good morning to one and all. Good morning to my very valuable customers. It's a pleasure to be here and to give you yet another briefing on what's happening in the industry, and more so at First Domestic. I shall try and deal with this subject matter on an industry basis, so I'm not too focused on my company. Today and at this point in time is the time when insurance companies should not be sad but be very happy. I was asked, it was stated to me by a couple of people, wow, you probably have a lot of claims to pay. And my reply was, I wish I had more. Because if we had more, it just means that we'd be putting more into this economy. We'd be making certain that there's money to put your roof on, your building, money to buy your stocks in your stores, and things of that nature. This is the time when the insurance industry is tested not only for its financial robustness, but tested from the standpoint of how much service will we give to those customers. Some customers have been around for 50, 60 years. Hurricane David was 1979, and so customers have been paying premiums for quite some time. Unfortunately, we have had several other incidents. We had Lee, we had very recently Erica, which caused quite a bit of payout. But by and large, customers will tell you, insureds will tell you, we have paid for a long time, nothing ever happened. This is the time when we're not happy about it, about the incident, but we're happy that we can now come up to the plate and make our promise come true. And that is what we should be happy about. This is a time when you cannot treat claims the way that you normally treat claims. This is a catastrophe of historic proportions, never before. And so we must adopt different ways of handling claims. I was very pleased yesterday when we had a meeting with the Prime Minister that most of the insurance representatives were of the same view, that this is a time to show that our promises will come true. This is a time when we have to understand that the public at large, and more so our clients, are under tremendous pressure and perhaps will approach things differently, will become confrontational. And this is our opportunity to show that we care, so we do not behave in the same manner. We must understand what it is like to be sleeping without a roof, to be sleeping on the floors again, and to be bathing from a bucket of water, and in some cases perhaps a teacup. And so we have to deal with claims differently. Yes, we must have the assessments, we must know what was damaged, what was lost, because the policy that we sell you is by and large a policy of indemnity. What we are saying, that in case of a loss, we'll put you back in a same or similar position as you were before the storm. And so, as we get the assessors, their job is to go out and look and to estimate what the losses are. The process, let me repeat, is a fairly simple one. You have a loss, your roof was off, or there's some other water damage. You go into your insurance office if they're open, and you report the loss. Very simple. It's a one-sheet document with probably not more than 10 questions. Your name, your address, your location, where your house is, and a very brief description was what happened. My roof came off. Water flooded my area. You sign it, you date it, and that's all. That's the first part of it. The insurance company gets this, and companies operate differently. Some companies will send their assessors, or not their assessors, but will send assessors to look at your damage and to quantify it and then bring in a report. Some companies, and sometimes the same company, will give you the opportunity to go and seek and look for persons that they approve to do such a job of assessing the damages. So we'll give you a list of names, telephone numbers, and address of persons who you can invite to come and look at your house to see what the damages is. They do that and they bring the form back into the insurance company. The insurance company now has a report with the damages and the costs that it will take to put you back into a same or similar position. And so they will call you in by WhatsApp or whatever means possible, and they will say, we have an assessment, we have an estimate of what it's going to cost to put you back into a same or similar position. Please come in so we can discuss it. You get to the office, you discuss it, you agree on the figure, and wow, there goes the check. That's it. Fairly simple process. What is happening is this. As I said, the damages are so enormous that it's overburdening the system. We are short of adjusters, and so most of the companies are bringing adjusters from overseas to help with this situation, which is tremendous. Again, it's one way of saying they are honoring their obligations. As of sometime today, in the case of First Domestic, I think we would have had about 2,000 claims already lodged at the office. And there are several other companies who are in a similar position. This puts a bit of strain on the system, and so, as I said, it only takes one day for you to come in and fill the form saying that I've had claims or damage. When we get in touch with the assessor, the person who is coming to your home, to look to see what the damages were and to give a cost of the damage, they will need to get back and write a report and bring to the insurance office. This can take probably 2 to 3 weeks because they're dealing with thousands of claims. It is not the usual thing where you have 5 car claims in a day, 2 claims for cars in a day. This is dealing with thousands of claims. So we will give 2 to 3 weeks. So the first part of it takes a day. Then we inform the assessor Then he takes 2 to 3 weeks. So we're looking at about 4 weeks, 4.5 weeks. So long as both parties, that is the insured, you, the person who have a problem with your property, and the insurance company sit down and agree on a cost of putting back the house or the property in a same or similar position, there's the check. That doesn't take more than a day, 2 days. There are cases, and there will be cases, where both parties or one of the parties cannot agree on the figure, and that will take a little more time. But so long as this can be agreed upon, it should not take more than about a month plus, 5-6 weeks, from the date you bring that first report in to the date you get a check. Again, the insurance industry made it quite clear yesterday at the meeting that they understand their responsibility and understand that this is a special case. And so some companies have already done this, and the others, I think, will follow suit, and that is to give interim payments. While we're waiting on all the procedures to come in place, we recognize that it is necessary to do cleanup, it is necessary to move all stock from your place and get it dumped. It is necessary probably to send overseas to get some tarpaulin, or to send to Guadeloupe, Martinique, wherever it is, to get some wood or some galvanized. And so we will not necessarily wait until the entire claim process has been completed. We will make interim payments. We will advance you money on your claim. And that should again ease the situation greatly. It is not the full claim process. Some persons will prefer to wait until the process is completed. Some persons will want to have some financial assistance before that process is completed. And insurance companies, we as insurance companies, recognize this and are beginning to put that in place. What, again, I must say to my valued customers and the industry valued customers is that looting that we saw on a scale never before seen is an exception under the policies. Even if the policy remains silent in its language, it is not covered. So that can be a problem. Normal damages caused by the hurricane, that is covered. Even in the case of automobiles, your cars, your buses, provided at the time of you buying insurance, you bought that coverage. It's a separate coverage that is referred to commonly as act of God. Hurricane, earthquake, windstorm. Generally, the motor policy covers accidents, collisions, accident caused to third persons or to property of other persons, and that is referred to as third-party insurance. Accidents or collisions caused to other persons, whether by your fault or the other person's fault. So that is what the motor policy, by and large, covers. There are medical benefits under the policy too, but by and large, it's a policy of collision, accidental damage. To cover the damages caused by hurricane, you would have had to specifically have that as a part of your policy. Another thing that needs just to be said is the fact that all policies carry what you call an excess, and that is a deductible. I'm very sorry. That's why we're talking about insurance. That's an accident. My cell went on. Since Hurricane David, the deductible has been standardized at 2% of the insured value. In other words, if you insure your house for $100,000, the first 2% becomes a deductible, and 2% of $100,000 is $2,000. Again, most policy has another proviso which says 2% or 2005, whichever is the greater part. So that for a person who has a house valued at and insured, not valued, but insured for $500,000, the first 2% of that will mean it's $10,000. So if you have losses that are below $10,000, there really is no claim. Above that, the other $490,000 is subject to settlement based on certain conditions. It is worthwhile to take note that there is such a thing called an average in the policy, the average clause. And what it does is this, that if your building is worth $1 million and you insured it only for $500,000, then it is saying that there are two persons who are carrying this risk. You, the insured, and the insurance company. Again, $1 million, but you come to the office and say, I want $500,000, and under much entreaty not to do it, you decide to do it, then that is your prerogative. But remember that you are carrying 50% of the risk. Therefore, and that is easily understood, that if the house is valued for $1 million, you insure it for $500,000, and the house is a total loss, then you expect us to pay $500,000 and not $1 million. The problem comes in is when there is a partial loss, and so that the house was valued at $1 million, insured for $500,000, but the damages was $250,000. Then, because of the average clause, then the payment moves to $125,000. It's a little difficult to understand, probably just by me trying to do this on the air, but that is one of the things that you need to look about. We are also aware that most people, when they buy an insurance policy, they look at it, and that's the first and last time they look at it. Some don't even see it because it goes to the bank. And so I think it has become clear to those of us in the industry that not only must we sell a policy, but we should service a policy. We should be visiting our clients from time to time to remind them of what they bought, and to remind them to do several things, particularly in the life business, that if they got married, to change their name, if they change their mind about leaving part of their assets or their asset, particularly life insurance, to come in and change the beneficiary. And so this is another learning process for those of us about the importance that we play in servicing the public, the general public. Once again, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you, and I hope that something that I have said will be of help to you. Thank you very much.